September 7, 2022. The Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. Napoli against Liverpool, the heavyweights of Europe, the team that had reached 3 of the last 5 Champions League finals. By the 44th minute, the unbeatable Liverpool machine isn't just losing, it's being dismantled. And at the center of the wreckage is a 21-year-old with his socks rolled down to his ankles, a jersey that looks too big for him, and a name that most commentators couldn't even pronounce yet. Kvaratskhelia didn't just play against Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk that night. He terrorized them. He didn't use modern system triggers or programmed movements. He used a style of football that felt like it belonged in a black and white film. The world called it a breakout. They called it the Kvara Storm. But inside the Napoli dressing room, Luciano Spalletti wasn't surprised. He had walked into the club months earlier with a radical idea. He had just watched the club's greatest modern icon, Lorenzo Insigne, leave for Toronto. Every pundit in Italy said Napoli was finished. They said you don't replace the Prince of Naples with a kid from the Georgian league for 10 million euros. Spalletti didn't just disagree. He had already seen the next 10 years of tactical evolution. He didn't want a winger. He wanted a space eater. He took a player the world thought was a throwback and used him to break the most modern defense in football. To understand why we ignored the warning signs, you have to look at the Insigne era. For a decade, Napoli's left side was defined by the tiraggio, Insigne's signature curling shot. It was predictable, elegant, and controlled. Every defender knew what was coming. When Napoli announced Kvaratskhelia as the replacement, the reaction was silence. He had spent 3 years at Rubin Kazan. He was a refugee from the political turmoil in Russia. To the elite clubs in the Premier League, he was a risk. To the scouts at PSG, he was unrefined. He didn't have the academy polish of a Phil Foden or the robotic efficiency of a Bukayo Saka, but Spalletti saw the flaw in the modern winger. Today's wingers are taught to stay wide, keep the ball, and wait for the overlap. They are possession preservers. Spalletti realized that against the high-pressing monsters of modern football, a safe winger is a useless winger. He wanted chaos. He looked at the Georgian league footage and saw something that hadn't existed in Europe since the 1990s. A player who was equally lethal with both feet and who prioritized the dribble over the pass. While the rest of Europe was training wingers to be cogs in the machine, Spalletti was looking for the man who would throw a wrench into it. In October 2022, Spalletti dropped a quote that should have changed how we view the game. He said, "Systems no longer exist in football. It's all about the spaces left by the opposition." This is the tactical secret we all ignored. We looked at the Napoli team sheet and saw a 4-3-3. We saw Kvara on the left wing, but Kvara wasn't playing on the wing. Spalletti had designed a half-space trap. Look at the footage of the 2022-23 Scudetto run. Kvara starts wide to stretch the fullback, but the moment the ball moves into the midfield, he doesn't stay wide like a traditional winger. He drifts into the corridor of uncertainty, the space between the right back and the center back. Spalletti's genius was giving Kvara the license to fail. In a modern tactical setup, if a winger loses the ball trying to dribble, the coach screams at him. Spalletti did the opposite. He told Kvara, if you don't try to beat 3 men, you are failing the system. By forcing Kvara to be an individualist in a team sport, Spalletti created a tactical gravity. Because Kvara was so unpredictable, teams started sending 2, then 3 defenders to mark him. And that is where the trap was sprung. The moment 3 men moved toward the Georgian, the center of the pitch opened up for Victor Osimhen. The Kvaradona nickname isn't just about the skill, it's about the tactical weight. Like Maradona, Kvara became a black hole that sucked in the entire defense, allowing the rest of the team to play in the resulting vacuum. Spalletti didn't build a team around Kvara's feet, he built a team around the fear Kvara's feet created in the opposition. There is a term in Georgia for their style of play, Soviet Brazilians. It refers to a generation of players who played with an improvisational flair that the rigid Soviet system couldn't crush. Spalletti tapped into that DNA. He realized that the academy winger was becoming too easy to defend. If a player is programmed, a computer can stop him. But you can't program a defense to stop a player who doesn't know what he's going to do next himself. The numbers tell the story of a revolution. In his first season, 12 goals and 13 assists in Serie A. The first title for Napoli in 33 years. But the real stat is the successful dribbles and progressive carries. He wasn't just scoring, he was moving the entire game 40 yards up the pitch by himself.
We spent the season calling him a revelation, as if he had fallen from the sky. But he was a calculated response to the boredom of modern football. Spalletti saw that the high press had a weakness. It relies on the opponent playing correctly. If you play incorrectly, if you dribble when you should pass, if you shoot from an impossible angle, the press collapses. Today, every top club is looking for the new Kvara. They are looking for the unrefined talent in Georgia, in Norway, in Japan. They are trying to find the player who hasn't been coached into a robot yet. Mourinho saw the striker in the winger. Guardiola saw the system in the playmaker. Spalletti saw the chaos in the Georgian. We looked at his €10 million price tag and assumed he was a bargain. Spalletti looked at the price tag and knew he was a heist. He didn't just replace Insigne, he deleted the need for an Insigne-style player forever. Spalletti was right about Kvaratskhelia. He saw the Scudetto in the 103rd minute of a scout's laptop screen in Russia. He saw a king where we saw a stranger. And by the time we learned how to say his name, he had already changed the game forever.